step. Are you guys there? I was having audio trouble, and then I forgot to hit the go live button. But here I am, and I'm hoping you all can see me and hear me just fine now. Give me an indicator if you can hear me. Thank you, Dan. I don't know yet. Hello, friends. I'm hoping that I've got some people here who can keep me company for a little bit. I don't know who we've got in the house right now. Drop a wave. Hi, Marilyn. Can you repeat? Can I repeat what? Can you hear me? I Yes, we hear you, but it's a weird robotic voice. Okay. I'm using my headset because the mic on the computer, the laptop didn't work. There is sound, but it's patchy as anything. My voice is super fast. That's good. That means I have to slow down a little bit and not get all hyper and stressed out doing this. Let me see if we've got a headset. Dan might be able to help me with a spare headset. I could turn down the volume on something. Is that better? I'm not plugged in. Let me unplug and replug maybe. I'm not plugged in. I'm just using a Bluetooth because my mic in my computer wasn't registering for Okay, we
There
got
you
him.
go. That seems to be working.
Yay! Hey, can you hear me now?
Probably better in front of you.
What's that?
It's better in front of you.
That's got a mic in it?
Yes.
All right, guys, can you hear me now? Sound!
There you
Let me shut off my Bluetooth and see if that helps. Jody, I love you. Are you sure Dan didn't sabotage the sound so he could get some screen time? Yes, 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 that's what he did. Yes, loud and clear. Is it too loud? Do I need to turn down a volume somewhere? Maybe I'm too loud. All right. Sorry for the trouble, guys. I started to log in at about 5:02, 7:02, and nothing, and that just wasted 20 minutes of everybody's time. I'm so sorry. Loud and clear. All right. So now that I've wasted all this time, um, tonight's discussion is I wanted to talk about gardens and seeds. And um, have you ordered seeds yet? Who do you order from? And all of that. What happens if I expand that? Nothing. I don't want to hide the chat. Let's open the chat. No, okay. There we go. It's perfect. Okay. Dorothy. Dorothy lives local to me, and I haven't seen her for a couple of weeks. Dorothy, have you ordered any seeds yet? Has anybody ordered any seeds yet? Who do you order from? I all the seeds are ordered. I don't need more. If I order more, it would be a treat. Marilyn, I'm going to have to get some information from you for the long keeper tomatoes. I ended up growing them in the rows with all the others, and I saved them, and they ripened really quickly, and they were rotting before I got to them. Like I had to freeze them in October when I was pulling them off. Dorothy says she ordered with Vessi. Where is Vessi Seeds located? I don't have any Vessi seed items here. I do get their flyer, but I don't know where they are. Marilyn says she gets hers from different places, but my bulk places are Vessi's, William Dam, and some French place. I haven't ordered any. I've PEI for Vessies. Okay, that's not too bad. It's Canadian temperatures and Canadian climates and all of that. I do hear some people like really promoting MI Gardener and different places that are similar climate, but you may be limited in what you can get to cross the border. I'm really working on Canadian seeds where possible, and I'm working on Ontario and as close to home as possible. I know I've got a bunch of seeds sitting here today. This company, Gaia, is from Ottawa. Hi, Dave. Dave says Ontario seeds from Waterloo, cheap shipping on small packs. And Waterloo is local to you, right? Or relatively local to you. For longkeeper, they go bad on the plant, green or red, black bottom or something. This wasn't the problem I had with the longkeepers was not blossom end rot. It's like I brought them in the house, and within 3 days they were overripe, and I picked them when they were orange.
I did have a lot of tomatoes at the same time, and yeah, I'll have to focus on that. Maybe we'll talk about that again in the fall or before tomato harvest time. Dorothy says, "And my gardener is great, but the exchange rate and shipping is too much." Dorothy, I can find these in stores, and you probably can order from a website as well, and they are organic, and they're from near Ottawa. Where'd the other one go? I get these little packets of seeds with no advertising on it or anything like that. There's just a little paper envelope, and they're limited in, oh, where's the darn camera? They're limited on the varieties they have available, but they do have quite a bit, and they're from Foxborough, which is not far from Belleville or Napanee. So Terra Edibles, Foxborough. They definitely have a website, and I can get like if you're growing beans, they have all kinds of them. Actually, that's somebody I might need to order from. I did some seed saving last year for uh, I did some seed saving from October beans, and I'm really excited to grow some October beans. Last year, I put in 2 whole packets, and it wasn't from this company; it was from a different company, and only 1 plant grew. They might have had a little help with a lawnmower, but only 1 plant grew. And then I only got like 6 beans off of that 1 plant. Just the weeds were so bad in that area. So I've got seeds just barely, and I didn't get any produce off of it. I just got enough to seed save. I'm going to try a test sprouting and see how, germination test and see how they come up. And the long keeper tomatoes, well, they turn fast, but keep that way for a long time. They didn't keep for me. I'll have to, maybe it was because they were with all the other tomatoes and not just that specific type of tomatoes. I had them with my Amish paste and my San Marzano and all of that. Oh, and Dorothy, I know you like the San Marzano. This Gaia Seeds is the company I got the San Marzanos from. Do any of you or pick up seeds in store, or do you typically order? And this surprised me. This is Burpee Seeds, and they've been around in Ontario for years and years and years, but they're American. They are from PA. Is that Pennsylvania? Warminster, PA. I don't know the abbreviations for the states. Hi, Annie. I'm sorry you can't stay long. It's good that you waited for a few minutes to come in. I had some serious sound trouble, but I'm here now. Hey. You get them green before the nights are coldish. Yeah, we'd have to harvest the long keeper tomatoes underripe and before they frost. I'm just gonna have to try again. Try again. Hi, Annie. Hi, Marilyn. Tomatoes. Yes, long keeper tomatoes. Have you had any experience with those, Annie? I know that Lynn at Bucket List Homestead was just sampled one in her video. She was so excited to be trying a fresh tomato in January that she didn't have to buy. You find MI Gardener is not worse than any other company, to be honest. Okay. I wonder if it's, the shipping should be the same. You're Canadian, but it's east instead of just slightly northwest, northeast. Annie had blossom end rot for all of them, so nothing yet. I don't know if it's accurate or not. Long keepers were introduced by Marilyn. Okay. Blossom end rot. When I've had problems with blossom end rot often when it's a rainy day, like a rainy season. This past year, I didn't have, maybe there was a bunch of, I had tomatoes in 3 separate gardens. 2 of the gardens had no blossom end rot. The third garden did, and I didn't put my preventative treatment down there. What I do is I save my eggshells and I powder them, and I just put them around. I put my seedling in the ground, and I put a ring of eggshells around the basically the drip line of the seedling. And then whenever I water it, I make sure that I water that a little bit. I've never had like a whole year. I had 45 tomato plants, and I had 2 tomatoes with blossom end rot. 2, not 2 plants, 2 tomatoes. It's all your fault that no one can do, lawn keeper. It was my soil. I kind of neglected that bed. Lack of time. Annie, we all understand lack of time in the garden, and you've got a house full of kids running around and other responsibilities. So, yes, that's totally forgivable. What are you all planning? Are you planning on expanding your garden? I'm looking for my beverage here. Are you planning on expanding your gardens this year? Or are you planning on keeping them the same as they are, or shifting crops to something else? Yes, you have to pick and choose your battles. Remy says, I always plan to expand. Remy, you use a community garden. How do you expand from that? You have some land too, or do you rent more of the community garden plots? Annie says she's downsizing on certain things. Marilyn, I do not know. I am known to put crops in weird places. Hey, if there's soil there, why not grow? I mentioned last week our property is it's just about 2 acres, and we have a big ridge in the middle. So we've got one we call the upper acre and one we call the lower acre. And Remy says, I have a garden at home too. The upper acre, where I planted my garden, the neighbor told me, oh, it's too sandy up there. I chat with my neighbor and mentioned that I was considering putting a garden in this specific place, and he said it's too sandy up there. Well, I did it anyways. I did lasagna style. So I put down the cardboard, then I put down the mulch and manure, and I wood chipped the whole thing, sort of back to Eden style. And he says, I'm orienting myself in crops I plant and don't need to do much. Like, okay, you're looking for low care gardens, low maintenance. This area where I put this. Oh, Miss Lily, my dog's whining. She wants a treat. Oh, I'll have to grab something in a second. So I put this, 6 inches, 8 inches of material on top of the cardboard. So I really wasn't getting into the sand. And if you're, Mary Lynn says she's in full sand. If you have to put so much amendments in sand because it just washes away. All the nutrients just soak into the soil and wash away, and the water doesn't hold. So if you're putting in the amendments, it'll help to hold the nutrients. I come to find out that looking at older satellite images and looking at the history of the property, I mean, I can look back 10, 15 years as soon as they had satellite images. I can see that a road used to go through exactly where I put my garden. So there's like gravel. There's some places we could put our electric sheep netting around it, and it went in easily. And some places I put my electric sheep netting in, and I was hitting gravel everywhere. So I basically put my garden on top of a dirt road, and it's the best garden I've ever had. Rabbits, yes, the rabbits help a lot for the manure, right? They add the nutrients. Annie says, but what I plan to do somehow changes planting day because I have an overstock of plants. Yes, I can totally relate to that. I'm going to go out and I'm going to do this and this and this and this. And so yeah, nope, it doesn't happen. Rabbit poop. I want to get rabbits this year. Give me 1 second. I'm going to grab the dog a treat. Because if I don't, she will keep whining. Luckily, this treat cabinet's only about 3 feet from where I'm seated. There's too much drainage with the gravel, just like there's too much drainage with the sand. It just runs off. Oh, sorry, I'm talking and not showing everybody else the comment. Leanna says lots of drainage with the gravel. It's just like sand. Now I know from chats with Leanna, she's my best friend. We've been friends since we were 9 years old. She lives in Saskatchewan right now, and she's dealing with heavy clay. But I now only have 7 for a few months. Less cold. You keep 7 rabbits over winter? I'm considering getting rabbits. I did some quick math on setting up some hutches because I'm going to want to have at least 5 cages, 5 sections of hutch. And Luna is being quiet tonight. Well, Miss Lily is sitting here. She's gone now. She was sitting at my ankles whining. Annie says, clay is intense. I'm on clay and I've been building soil since 2018. 6 females and 1 male. Marilyn, do you harvest your rabbits? I was looking at doing the math, doing a really quick rough estimate on how much it's going to cost me to just get started, and it's going to be at least $1,500, and I have to come up with that. It's 100% my expense, my build, my acquisition, my caretaking, everything 100% on me. And planning is going to be a part of making that a little easier. Annie says she's going to have males in the spring to exchange. And I should share you guys. Marilyn says, nope, she has 5 females and 1 male, so 6. And Annie says she has males to share in this, or males in the spring to exchange. We did the last 5 of 2023 season Saturday. And Tracy, T-Hand 141, says, I'm getting bunnies in the spring. The thing that I'm researching a lot. Now, YouTube is my go-to. I can look at their visuals and I can hear them and I can sort it all out. And, you know, this person says this and this person says that. Most of them are hands-on. It's not reading a AI-generated script, right? That's the new books these days. You have to be really careful on whether they're from somebody who's actually been through the process or whether it's somebody who's just using AI to create a story. Rem's hoping for a bunch of babies in the spring. Remy, I didn't know you had rabbits too, but I guess, oh, you changed your logo. Rem's logo used to be a chicken and a rabbit, and today it looks like a pheasant and a deer. When did you change your logo? Yeah, I have 2 males that are linked to my doe, so I need a male not related to my doe. You have chickens, then you can have rabbits. You just need a floor because they dig. Okay, let's ask the group this. My plan was gardening, but it's leading toward rabbits right now. Can I put my rabbits and my chickens together? Rabbits need particular care and supervision. A litter needs special attention. Yeah, Rem is going more in harvesting in the wild. That's why the logo change. Thank you for joining, Annie. Dave says he made a Costco run today, set on meat for a while. What kind of deals did you get, Dave? And he just answered my question. My cages are in my chicken coop. I was thinking of doing that. My run, I have a 16 by 20 run, and I was just going to take the last 4 feet of that 20 along the 16-foot length end and set the rabbits up in there. Then the hutches are, in the winter, we wrap the run in plastic so that it's not getting so much wind, and it might be colder, but it's going to be drier, and it's going to be less windy. But if I do that, my rabbits are going to have heat or sun on the back of the coop, the back of the hutch. The chickens and rabbits are in the same building but separate. I would not mix them. And now see, Annie says I try to make it set up so she only has to go to one area. That's what I'm thinking. If we go in to feed the chickens, and the chickens have full use of the run, they're all over the place. And then I have the rabbits in hutches, not roaming free, but in a hutch. Then I would, because I'm not thinking about a colony for my rabbits. If I was going to put the rabbits in a colony, I would have to put mesh on the bottom and build a whole separate run just for the rabbits. Dave says, okay, let's go this. Okay, gotta go. Good night, Annie. They do not recommend to put a heat lamp where there's rabbits because the fire risk and fur flying everywhere. I do not use heat lamps for my chickens either. If it gets brutally cold, I will put the brooder plate, the little tiny 1 foot square plate that you use for your baby chicks. I would lay that on its side against a wall or frame it up somewhere so that it just puts off a little bit of radiant heat in the coop, and we've only used that when it's minus 40, when it's really brutally cold. Rabbits don't need heat in the winter, only to be protected from the elements. The problem is going to be the summertime. What I've got for the summertime, the sun would be shining on the back of the hutch at sunrise. And then, yes, and chicken wire is, oh, where'd it go? Chicken wire is not solid enough. I use hardware cloth for everything. Yours are in a cage in the run or in the coop, and the poop falls on the floor and make compost under the cages that chickens have fun with. I add brown material to mix it up and the chickens. Yeah, there's a difference there too. I was thinking that it'd be nice to be able to just go in, feed the chickens, go over, feed the rabbits, and then come out again. They're protected by predators with the same level of security, which is a hardware cloth and a skirt out under the ground for the hardware cloth. And it's totally surrounded. It's totally enclosed. The closest predator we've ever seen is raccoon paw prints, handprints on the side, and they're gone. We've never seen those again. I like it when we can track the wildlife in the winter, and I've done my share of that. And you'll have to excuse me a second. Entertain yourselves, guys. The dog's being a pain in the... Yeah, she wants out now. Be 2 seconds. I hate taking off when I'm the host. Sorry about that. Dan is upstairs and he can't hear me if I was going to call him and ask him to take care of the dog anyways. So Marilyn, you have your rabbits and chickens in the same building. Do you have like almost like stalls for your rabbits and stalls for your chickens? From what I remember seeing it, that's the impression I got. They might be under the same roof, but they're separate sections. You could build chickshaws for rabbits and chickens in the summer, movable to where you need them. The problem with that is our ground is very uneven here. Sorry, Leanna made a point here. The ground is very uneven here, and where it might touch in some areas, it's going to have a hollow underneath of it in other areas, and you try to roll it and it's going to scrape. And the best of our level ground is in our dog run, the fenced area that we have for the dog. And everywhere else, we're going to be scraping rocks and we're going to be hitting hollows and it's going to be all over the place. We've trained our chickens so that they will follow us. If you've watched any of my videos, you've probably seen us do the little chicken run. Dan actually runs with the bag of treats in one of the videos and the chickens follow him. And I've got another one, a short, where I've got them following me just to the bag of treats. And we bring them to the backyard. An aerial predator could still be a risk, and the dog could still be a risk, and moving them could still be a risk. But otherwise, they're probably pretty secure just to go into the backyard. Rabbits, dig. They would have to be in something with a wire bottom. I would like to be able to sort of use a chickshaw like that or a rabbit tractor or a chicken tractor, because it puts them on fresh pasture every day. It puts them, you put them in the hutch at night or the coop at night, but then you can still bring them out during the day. I have seen this really cool thing where you can build a chicken wire tunnel and the chickens can go from one area to another area with the tunnel. You just have to open and close the access to the tunnel. I would love to have a trampoline, an old trampoline frame, and wrap that entirely in hardware cloth or chicken wire or what have you, and tunnel to that so they can go out to that or to a dog run or something where they can go out and free range in that for a day, and then they go home at bedtime. And these chickens are pretty awesome about putting themselves to bed at night. As soon as it starts to get to dusk, they're in. It's like they can't see, so they go to somewhere they know is safe. And Mary Lynn says, yes, corridors, in and out. Thank you, Tracy. Yes, please hit the thumbs up. It helps YouTube just to see me a little bit more. Hey, CR, thank you. You're stream hopping. Every little bit helps. Every little bit helps. Began to shop for electric wire this week for the chickens this summer. I found out that it is not cheap. We made a silly mistake. We thought we were buying electric chicken fencing, poultry netting. Oh, excuse me, dog. Silly animal. You left a Dutch. Okay. CR says hello. 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 CR says he left a Dutch oven stream. That would be awesome. Somebody's doing cast iron cooking and Dutch ovening. The electric, yes. So the electric poultry netting. It was probably $250. The netting plus the transformer. And we found that sheep netting was cheaper. Well, we were brand new to this. We didn't even have, chickens. Our chickens weren't even outside yet. They were still just chicks. So the first 6 weeks of being chicken owners. And we got this sheep netting. It was cheaper. Figured, okay, what's the big deal? Well, on poultry netting, the on poultry netting, the gaps between the cords on the bottom section is closer together, so the chicks can actually slip right through. My chickens go right through this sheep netting, and they don't care. It doesn't bother them at all. I did have the luck that electric fencing kept loose. My neighbor had a problem with bad fences, and his sheep or his cows and pigs would always come up here, like a full kilometer down the road, and his animals ended up here several times, and they ended up coming towards my garden, but the electric sheep fencing, I can't even speak tonight. The electric sheep fencing kept the pigs off. They got close and they went, nope. And they wandered off onto something else. They ended up going down the way into the neighbor's property, but he's got a chunk of property that's a kilometer away from where he lives. Oh, I've missed something here. They got really cold now. The soft maples will flow. I am looking forward to that. Dave, do you do maple syrup? This neighbor I was just talking about, he has one maple tree and I tap that. And there's one on my property, but it's a striped maple, not as sweet as a sugar maple. And I've got all kinds of box elder or Manitoba maple, but the sap that comes out of those almost tastes like fermented orange juice. It tastes citrusy. I think I had 10 gallons of sap last year, and I ended up boiling that down, and I got like 3/4 of a cup of maple syrup. I did have another neighbor offered, while I was doing that, he saw the taps on the trees. He offered if I wanted some syrup, and at that time it was my first go with the maple syrup, so I said no. But I would love to be able to get some more maple syrup, and I found out since then that he's got his dad has a property just 2 doors down from us, maybe 500 meters from us. Yes, and Dave says yes. In the area, soft and hard, 12 trees. I don't know the difference between soft maples and hard maples, but a 10-to-1 ratio. Dave, is it a 10-to-1 ratio or is it a 40-to-1 ratio? It's crazy. It's like crazy high. So in order to get a gallon of syrup, you have to do 10 gallons or 40 gallons of sap. It's crazy high. But anyways, this guy has a property 500 meters from us, and there's a sugar shack, and there's a whole maple stand and everything. Just a matter of getting down there and getting back into the woods, and having a vehicle that can do it. My little what my husband calls a city car, my little sedan can't get into the backwoods the way that a pickup truck could. Need more than one tree at least. Yes, it would be nice to have 3 or 4 trees. And there we go. Dave says 40-to-1. So if you want a gallon of maple syrup, you have to boil down 40 gallons of sap. It's a lot. It is a lot. And the whole filtering it so you get the sugars out of it and the crystals out of powder out of it, and boiling it to the right temperature for long enough. And I did mine on, I was a newbie, and I used a Camp Chef propane 2-burner stove. It worked great for what I was doing, but I can't imagine doing 40 gallons with propane. That would be a bit much. You'd have to have a good hardwood fire roaring for hours and hours and hours. Dave, you boil your own down? And is it true, Dave, that You can start tapping the trees when the donut is around the bottom of the tree. The donut of soil, rather than the snow has moved back and you've got this little donut of exposed soil. At least that's what I heard. Leanna, have you ordered your seeds yet? I really did come in here tonight to talk about seeds. Oh, Dave's telling me about telling us about the maple syrup. I make sugar even less, 50 to 1, and a case of beer because you're sitting there watching it as it boils down. To make sugar instead of sap, do you have to take it up to a higher temperature, or you have to keep it at that same temperature for longer period? And I got the powder out of my maple syrup. It's like ash almost mixed in with the syrup. When you're doing maple sugar, do you filter that out? And again, I came here to talk about seeds tonight, but I guess the topics are going everywhere else. Recently, I bought a certificate to a friend from Richter's. They sent me a catalog. They are really different things. It's hard. Yes, I do, and I do have some Richter seed packets here. This one's a little older. Apparently, it's 2022. I got to plant those this year. I'm still not sure if I'll be able to plant a garden this year. Leanna is in Saskatchewan, and they are under drought conditions. So maybe you'll have to do container planters, Leanna, and come up with as many moisture saving features as you can, so that you don't have to water quite as often, or so that the water you do put on it doesn't just evaporate right away. That's some research to do for you. I've seen people using maple syrup in their coffee. Were you watching me film this morning? I put maple syrup in my coffee, but I might only have 3 coffees a month. I do use maple syrup in my coffee, but I drink a flavored caramel flavored coffee, so it makes it just perfect to put maple with the caramel, right? Marilyn says, my boyfriend does that when we have some creative redundancy. Are you talking about food again? CR loves food. Oh, maple syrup is divine. Absolutely divine. CR says she knows me too well. I'm really surprised. CR has been around for years on my outdoors channel, and I let my Buttercup Mama Bear's backpack. I let Mama Bear's backpack go idle for over 2 years. And when I came back and started using I switched my name and started using Buttercup and Fern, CR started commenting, and he's been showing up here, and he's showing up in all of my friends too. CR, you are a man to be reckoned with. You're all over the place. Marilyn says, I really don't like maple syrup except with pancakes and waffles. And see, I'm opposite. I like to have a bit of maple syrup drizzled across some apple slices, or drizzled across the top of my oatmeal, but I don't like it so much on my pancakes, and I don't like it on bacon. Pancakes and waffles, it's just too much. It tends to soak in, and it's just, oh, I like my maple syrup in limited quantities. Leanna says, drought for several years now. We need rain. Can't plant enough in pots to preserve. Maybe even maybe for fresh eating. Well, find out what they do in Arizona. Maybe find a few channels that are in Arizona or other really dry places that and Texas. What do they use to how do they keep the moisture in their soil? I really highly suspect it has to be mulched really heavily. And maybe drip irrigation so that you're not spraying and it just goes right at the roots of the plant. You'll have to physically water it with a wand and spend some time doing that, but then it's getting right to the roots of the plant, and you don't have to water 5 feet across if your plant drip line is only 1.5 feet across. So for the maple sugar, I let it cool and boil it the next day. Filter and stir lots. Cool quick. CR says he joined for the food. Yeah, I'm still doing food. So you caught me with cast iron cooking before, and now I'm still doing cast iron cooking a little bit. Oh no, maple bacon and eggs. I can't. Yeah, maple bacon. Sausage, yes. Bacon, no. And a shade cloth. Oh, there's an idea. Leanna, a shade cloth to go over your plants to keep them from dehydrating. I wonder if landscape fabric could help with that too. So you water right at the stem of the plant, and then your landscape fabric and shade cloth and all of that keeps it from evaporating. A shade cloth could actually help to keep it from drying out of the leaves too. They have a longer season there. The garden, they garden a lot less in the hot summer months when we have good temperatures here. Yes, yes. So while we've got a gathering of gardeners here, what can you do in a super dry environment to water your plants, to grow tomatoes and green beans and peppers and potatoes? Just the common things. It's more about evaporation. Leanna may not be able to even water her garden. This past, I guess it was September. This past September, I think it was, they had water conservation bylaw, or a water conservation order went through the town. It was a no lawn watering order. I don't know how that's going to apply, if it's going to be worse this year, or do a rain dance. You know how to do you know you know how to do a rain dance, don't you, Leanna? If not, I think we can figure it out. CR says more rain catchment. Well, the problem with that, CR, is they have to actually have rain to catch. She gave me a stat a long while ago now, where they, how much rain they actually had in the village that she's in, and it was like ridiculously low, ridiculously low. That they've been under a drought for years and years and years. Yeah, and I think that I really think that a rain dance is the way to go. Jody, can you send some rain Leanna's way? I think you know whereabouts she lives, right? It rained a total of 5 days last summer. Our water comes from the mountains, Calgary way. If they don't get enough snow in the mountains, the river is too low to draw water for drinking. And I suspect that the mountains would, I can't think of, I want to say something, but I can't think of what the word is. The rain would be coming across the mountains and getting stuck, and only those few clouds that come over the top of the mountains are going to provide moisture that's going to come down. So in the winter, you might get stronger winds that would blow that snow in, and then that will run down. You need a beaver to dam up that river. And if there's no rainwater, no runoff coming in, then there's no groundwater to fill wells even. I don't know how the farmers manage. It's got to be like they just cry. They got to just cry because their crops are going to be drying up and their herds are going to be drying up, and parts of Saskatchewan were known for beef and for grains, right? Look at guys, I'm an hour past when I was supposed to start. We can go for a little bit longer tonight. My voice is starting to waver a little, but I think I can go a little longer. I've got my tasty cup of tea here. Yes, CR is right. The snow is important too, because the snow is going to provide runoff, and it's going to take long. Hopefully come out and what's the word? Not filter, but the snow is going to sinter down, filter into the ground slower. I can't think of the word. Sinter. Jody, the word nerd. What is the word I'm looking for? When the water's soaking into the ground, is that sinter, semper? Trickle? Yes, trickle. It's going to seep in more slowly if it's as snow rather than rain that could wash off quickly. But if you get that warming temperature too quickly, it can also cause flooding when the snow melts all in one day. You don't want that. You want it to warm up slowly, melt, thaw, melt, thaw, melt, thaw, or sorry, melt, freeze, melt, freeze, melt, freeze. And then it's going to come into the ground more slowly. Okay, here's another question about sort of about this garden situation and keeping the moisture in your garden. What do any of you, what do you use as mulch on your gardens? I have used a layer of cardboard, and I have used wood chips, and sometimes it means leaving the grasses on, and I have used straw, hay, whatever it was, and it was brutal for seeds the next year. I had weeds everywhere. So CR says, so less runoff. Yeah, you get the runoff more slowly, and you don't want it to necessarily run off, but to soak in so that it spreads out differently. We usually have feet of snow by now, less than 6 inches so far this winter. They are predicting a drier year this year than last year. I will play it by ear. Yeah, that's all you can do. Absorption. I can't. It's Sinter or Simper or Semper. I'll have to look it up. For the garden, dead leaves, and for the perennials, wood chips. Okay. Saskatchewan doesn't have many trees. I don't know if Leanna's got any leaves left from her garden or not. And Dorothy says wood chips, but then you get a million earwigs. Dorothy doesn't like earwigs. I use the wood chips, and there is a sawdust place around. There are 2 wood mills near me, but my brother Jody said that getting the sawdust, it compacts and it can become just like concrete or just like a chipboard where it's going to just get wet and then just kind of stick together. So sawdust would have to be mixed with leaves, mixed with the chicken manure, mixed with the shavings. Sawdust and shavings might still compact some, but not as much as just plain sawdust. And I can get bags of wood chips. I use the wood shavings that we use for our chicken bedding. I could mix that with the sawdust from the mill. And they let it go pretty cheap too, like $3 a bag or something for like a garbage bag. But if we got a tarp and laid tarps in the utility trailer, we could probably pick up a lot of wood sawdust. Well, hey then, grain residue from beer making. Yes, the straw from your beer making would be awesome. And Leanna says, I do use leaves and mulch, no earwigs. They like the moisture. Yeah, earwigs will be in the tubes of your lawn chairs and all of that because it's moist in there. So really fluffy bird's nest or tinder bundle. Yes, imagine the spark hitting that pile of, like they've got a pile that's got to be 15 or 20 feet high and 300 feet around. So they let you take it for pretty cheap. And yes, really fluffy bird nests or tinder bundles. That would spark so bad. But yeah. Have you ever been to oh, Bob, I'll take that word for $500. Today's word is percolate. Thank you, Google. I did a video recently as mulch. Okay, there you go. I did a video just recently where I was using Worcestershire sauce, and I could not come up with the way to say it. I never knew how to say it, and I did some Googling today, and so actually one of my commenters phonetically wrote it out so that I could figure out how to say it. And I took her comment and I went and I Googled and Googled and Googled, and I always thought it was Worcester, but it's actually Worce, Worcester. So Worcester, like not Worcest, it's Worcester. When I figured that out, now I got it. Worcestershire. And shire is actually slurred and it becomes sure. Worcestershire. So once I did the grammatically figured it all out and phonetically all figured it all out and added the British accent to it, it made sense. I think I got it now. Mulch, okay. Mary Lynn says, Worcester? Worcester? Mulch helped my tomatoes when it was 35 out. Yeah, it keeps the roots cooler, right? I have elderberry trees. I have 6 of them. And one of them is 6 feet tall and 4 or 5 feet around and producing like crazy. And the other 5, not a blossom, not a berry. And one of them is this, not even a foot and a half tall. And they were all planted on the same day. I have a friend who, Leanna, I'll ask Bill. I have a friend who was running a greenhouse for 10 or 15 years. He owned his own business. And he and his wife were here visiting. His wife, Chris, has been my friend for years and years, probably over 30 years. And I asked him, why would this be happening as they were walking around? And he says, look where it is. And this one gets full sun. But if you look, there's a tree there that blocks the sun. And there are trees there that are blocking the sun. So these little ones are not getting as much sun as that big one. Warm the soil up, he said. So what you're saying with using mulch to help keep your tomatoes cooler, by me putting mulch on the soil in the spring, it can also hold the heat in. So it depends on, what you need and if it's moist or if it's dry. So mulch is the answer he gave me for that. We say, what's this here sauce? What's this here sauce? Dan had one. Where's your sister sauce? That's how I pronounce it. Okay. I keep it fluffy so it wouldn't mat down via compaction. By keeping it fluffy, the air would be cooler. It would insulate. I'm going to have to try a couple of different approaches. And if necessary, take out a couple of branches on that Manitoba maple, right? They're just basically a weed tree and they get so big. Actually, we have a hydro line from our meter to the neighbor's barn. And yeah, the tree is all around, like all around the wire. I don't know if hydro would come in and actually trim the lines because it does serve us and his property, but I don't know if they would consider that, or if it's because we're on a private lane, if we'd have to pay to have any tree care done. If there was somebody else with their lines coming off our hydro pole, they would trim it. Okay, guys, I am starting to lose my voice now. I am not feeling as as high stress as I was last time. I'm feeling much more relaxed, and that's coming with practice and intentionality. I'm going to say goodnight now, and I'll catch you next week. I'm Worcestershire. Yes, that's right, Worcestershire. My rosacea is bothering me. So I will say good night. Good night, Marilyn. Thank you for hanging out. You have a great week as well. Take care. See ya all. Oh, the one-liner, CR. You gotta love it. And Dorothy, have a great night. Good night, everyone. I will see you again on Monday. And then some of you I will talk to before then. Good night, friends.